Hello! I'm usually just working on one or two projects at the same time, but today I have a big project planned, one that you could go in business with. I have 10 wooden boards here that are 20 centimeters wide and 91 centimeters long. 5 of them are walnut and 5 of them are maple. I will use my CNC machine to cut out 20 surfboards, and then I will cover the surfboards with ocean resin waste. Those will make great gift ideas as wall decor or cheeseboards. The boards are simple to make and it will be a lot of fun. After the boards are finished, I will sell them online. So, lessons anfangen.
I'm starting by cutting the pieces in half. I pre-cut one piece and then I use this piece to mark the other pieces. Just lay it on top of the stack and mark your cut with a pencil. Then I use the miter saw to cut the pieces in half. Make sure you wear eye protection and your hair is tied back, just in case it applies to you. I have 10 pieces of wood. That means I have to make 10 cuts and I will end up with 20 pieces of lumber for my surfboard-shaped cheeseboards. Once you finish cutting all the pieces in half, secure one piece of lumber at a time to your CNC machine table. Put on your ear protection, load your file into the software, and the machine is ready to go. This scene is sped up. Actually, I have the router go super slow to avoid any tears. That's how the board looks like once it's ready cut. Once the CNC machine has finished cutting one board, load in another one before you continue with the next step. You have 19 more boards to go. To cut the tabs, I usually use a Dremel, but today I grabbed my handsaw. It works the same. Discard the frame and rough sand the corners for the next step. Use a hand router to round over the edges. I use the bit that's made by Ryobi. Make sure you round over both sides of the board. Then sand the piece with 180 grit sandpaper. Follow the same steps for the next 19 boards. Now we got the surfboard shape. Next up is to sand the piece smooth. We start with 240 grit sandpaper. Next is 320 sandpaper. And last, we have 400 grit sandpaper. After you sand down every single board, use the sprayer filled with water and spray the boards down. Let them dry overnight. This will raise the grain, and you can sand it with another 400 grit sandpaper one last time.
I'm in my art studio and I sanded down all the surfboards to 400 grit. Now it's time to be creative. Before I start mixing the resin, look at each of the boards and decide which side should be up. I look for the unique patterns of the wood since I like the uniqueness, and I make sure that those are on top. To prop up the boards, I use empty cups. Make sure the cups are fully underneath the board so the resin can drip down on the sides. Gather your supplies. I'm using different colors of blue, green, and some whites. There are some opaques, they're transparent, and I have also some mica powders. Before you start mixing, make sure you come up with some color combinations for the boards before you end up mixing colors together that just don't look right. Like always, I'm using total wood resin. Make sure you measure exactly. This resin has a 1:1 ratio.
And you already know what's next. Resin dance! Tequila wanted to make a quick guest appearance. Fill the resin in individual cups and add the colors. You can see some white, green, and blue mica powder. Pour the resin on top of the board, first the darker color, then the lighter color, and then the line of clear. After that, add the white. Use a heat gun to spread the colors and make the white bubbles in the waves appear. Follow the same or similar steps for the next boards. You can follow along my instructions or be as creative as you like. Anything goes. I let the first layer dry for about 5 hours. Then I come back and add a second layer. After the second layer dries, I come back and pour a third layer. You can also let the resin dry overnight in between the layers, but then you will have to sand the surface where you will be pouring the new resin on top to get a proper bond. After your last layer, let the boards dry for a few days. Then clean up the back side by using a sander. Be careful to just sand the area that you really need to sand, because you will have to sand back up to 400 grit.
The boards are fully sanded and are ready for the finish. I can't wait to apply the wood oil and see the natural patterns of the wood come to life. I'm going to start with a thick layer of liquid hydration wood oil, and then I will follow up with Moose Magoo's wood butter. Both products are made out of natural organic ingredients. So let's do it!
And because applying wood oil is such a beautiful thing to do and watch, let's do it in slow motion. And one more time. Let the boards dry overnight. The next morning, take off any excess oil and apply a thin layer of Moose Magoo's wood butter. After a few hours, come back and buff the boards. If you like to sell the boards, I would recommend to put a label on the back so people will know who made the board. I used my laser engraver to add my name to the boards, Mica Made, because I made it. We are fertig! Now take some nice pictures and videos to show your customer the product. Before you make your products live, make sure you have shipping supplies at home. You want to make sure you have a nice box and bubble wrap to protect your items during shipment. Also, one of the most important things, if one of the boards did not turn out the way you intended to, don't try to sell it. Everybody has a different taste and people will like or dislike different products. But if there's an item that just didn't turn out right and you can't fully stand behind your creation, don't try to give it to someone else. Try to redo it or create something different. I uploaded my products to my online store at woodberrydesigns.com. If you have a minute, please go and check it out. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. I couldn't do it without you. And thank you so much for your support. Tschüss!